Welcome back. On today's episode, I will be giving you, the viewers, a deep dive into an artist's career in music. A career which, in fact, started off of a kid's game and would lead him to becoming the king of the underground at one point or another, and to making it into mainstream off the backs of a highly successful single that didn't blow up until months and years later, only to drop an album at the height of his career and for it to flop massively. This artist that I'll be referring this artist is none other than Sofaygo, and this is Sofaygo for Dummies. Andre Dontrell Burt Jr., also known by his stage name Sofaygo, is a 22-year-old American rapper from the A, also known as Atlanta, Georgia, but was born in Great Rapids, Michigan. He stands at roughly about 5'10", with his signature style of colorful dreads and interesting fashion choices to go along with it, go along with his style. But that wasn't always the Sofaygo way. Sofaygo grew up in Atlanta with both of his parents who were passionate about the missionary at their local church, and Sofaygo would often perform in the choir and would be a part of the choir, with his interest split in between singing and dancing. But church life wasn't always would work out for Sofaygo when he was young, but as he grew older, he became more into the secular culture. His life his life as an artist began when he was in fourth grade, when he recorded his first song in his cousin's house. As a child, Sofaygo would move around with his parents. He would stay with his grandma often and would stay with her when he was in the seventh grade. Around this time, at the age of 12, Fago came across a gamer friend known by the name DK, who had designed a popular Roblox server built around hip-hop culture. Players in the server could earn bottles of lean, buy designer fits, and ride around on hoverboards with boom boxes in the tow, and it gave Fago a brilliant idea. So he took it upon himself and made his own version of his friend's server. The server would be called Trailhouse. It would operate just like how his friend's server was, but only it exists as a platform to launch his music. He would go under the name, which he made at the time, under the name Trail Vietnamese during his high school years at Ethwark High School in Woodstock, Georgia. He would drop numerous songs under this name, and you can even find some of the songs on the internet today. He would eventually drop the name in favor for a new name, in his most recent one being Sofaygo. As shortly after, he would drop his first EP, We Are the Aliens, which set a musical foundation for him moving forward. Before we take a dive into some of his albums, here are some of Sofaygo's biggest inspirations: Drake, Lil Wayne, Chris Brown, Chief Keef, Playboi Carti, Lil Uzi, Doug, in anime shows, and much more. Some of these artist shows are even name-dropped in certain Sofaygo songs. Also, the young singer-rapper renamed himself after Fago, a 115-year-old corn syrup soda which was founded in Detroit. The soda is the choice for insane clown boys and their fans, also known for its bottles, psychedelic and multicolored labels. The name really does suit Sofaygo. War, Sofaygo's debut album, which came out on June 30th, 2019. This album would serve as the basis for him for establishing his fan base and would catch the attention of the founder of their record label, Internet Money, Taz Taylor. Taz would offer the young Fago an offer to the label, and would even fly out to LA to meet Taz, but eventually would turn it down. But while he was out there, he met someone who would go on to be really special for him in his life, Lil Tecca. The two would begin to work on a project together in the next couple of months, but in the meantime, let's focus on that album. The production on the album is good for his first body of work. It's okay. It's like a good baseline for him when it comes to his albums. Lyrically, it would be some power compared to his later work, but it had a couple of good references of some of his inspirations on songs like General Iroh on Campy, Drake on Jug, or Young Thug on Jeff, and would even show flashes of his singing ability on the song Jeff. It's a solid all-around album. If you haven't listened to it, I would take the time in your downtime, and I would suggest a couple of these songs. Sofaygo's sophomore album, Angelic 7, dropped on January 10th, 2020. This album was produced by none other than Lil Tecca, the same guy from earlier who he met out in LA. This album would make Sofaygo the king of the underground and would feature his biggest hit of all time, being Knock Knock on the last song on that album. You're probably wondering how he even got there to be the status of the king of the underground. Well, to make a long story short, there was a rap collective back in the day under the name Slay World, which ran the underground scene with artists like Summer, Yeet, Can, Autumn, Isaiah TG, and a couple of other members. One of the main members in the group, Summers, openly dissed Sofaygo on an IG livestream over some petty bullshit that had nothing to do with back in the day. This leading Faygo to seeing it, and Faygo to creating one of the best diss songs, but as well as one of his best tracks to this day in the form of Let the Girls Slay, where he took shots at not only at Summer for being gay and other stuff, but also shots at another member, Can. This album as a whole, from production to beat selection by Lil Tecca, and even the lyrics took a step up in the form of songs like Knock Knock and Let the Girls Slay from the last album. But in terms of replayability, there's a whole bunch of it on this album, with mind embedding choruses that will leave you feeling like you want to play this song again, to Faygo flowing on every single beat that this nigga Tecca threw at him. This album is a must listen to if you haven't listened to Tecca before. Oh wait, if you haven't listened to Sofaygo before. Shortly after dropping Angelic 7, Sofaygo will drop his third studio album titled After Me, which dropped on December 17th, 2020. This album came right after the Sofaygo and Summers beef had ended. This album is his best body of work to date, with great, amazing beats like the one off of Off the Map. The beat that gives a very 90s-esque style mixed with Sofaygo's vocals and his amazing chorus, making a track that you might end up listening to more than once. And with also songs like Chrome, Up 1942, and Mods, gives that great mood switch in between each song, from fast head-bopping dance music to nice, slow, late-night vibes. He also delivers lyrically on the song Every Day, where he talks about his point of view from his day-to-day life to his audience. This album the whole album is a listenable album. There's not one bad song on that album. You can take a stab at it and enjoy some of the songs. After the success of Faygo's first 3 albums and his hit single Knock Knock blowing up while simultaneously getting signed to Cactus Jack Records, Sofaygo felt it was the time to drop another album, where Travis Scott helped push with the promo. On November 11th, 2022, Sofaygo would drop his most highly anticipated album, Pink Hearts. This album isn't everyone's favorite, but still a good album nonetheless. Unlike his previous 3 albums, this one has a lot more substance to it, with an opening and a closing track to that album. Sofaygo also uses his singing ability more than ever on this album, especially with songs like Slip, featuring Don Toliver, Price, and Fro Show. He also has multiple verses and reoccurring choruses on tracks like Blitz, Version 2, and Going Back, which added something new to the Faygo sound. From a lyrical standpoint, songs like Forever, Another One, Going Back, is where he talks about his past as an up-and-coming artist, his present, and his family. This is one of his most experimental and ambitious projects to date. Here are some of my suggestions for songs. His 5th album, Go Plus or Go Star, whatever way you say it, dropped on June 14th, 2023. It was originally supposed to be a deluxe for his previous album, Pink Hearts, but he ended up going back on the idea and would release it as an entire album as itself. Go Plus isn't Pink Hearts, but instead it reverts back to his old style with songs like Yay, Backseat, and F a Post, feeling like that old Faygo sound. Also, with a more gritty and villainous tracks like Havoc, and Benny X is producing on the song On the Moon. Here's some of the songs I would recommend that you would listen to if you ever get the chance to listen to this album. To round off the end of the Sofaygo video, I want to say that he's been teasing another project for the last couple of months called War 2. It probably will drop sooner or later, so keep your eye out for that one. Well, if you stayed to the end of the video, I appreciate you. I'm out.